Hi there, I'm Mark and I'm one of the co-founders and directors of WXY. Today I'm going to speak about PR for 2020 and beyond, getting media interested in your games. Just talk about a few key trends that we have witnessed and discovered when we did market research and launching one of our new services, and why you should care, why games companies should care, and more particularly independent games companies, solo devs, releasing their own games, and publishers. I'm not reading from a script, so I'm pretty much just busking this. So hopefully you can all hear me loud and clear. I'll try and talk a wee bit slow because I know I have a thick Glaswegian accent. So to begin, I just wanted to mention really briefly the offers that Forward Slash Gaming has. Our lowest cost offer at the moment is £24, and that is valid until the 30th of April, and it's normally £60. What it is you list your game and get media coverage. If you follow that link on this slide, you can sign up from there. It takes 2 minutes to fill in your game information, and once we get it, we host it on our platform, which is akin to like a Netflix, where a journalist can click on your game on the tile, but instead of getting a movie, they can request codes. We have a verification process in place, so all the requests that we get through are of legitimate interest. Our other offer is our subscription service, which is again low cost, and that is £55 a month. And what that is we help with news generation further. We have a newswire and we send news out to the journalists that have signed up to our service, i.e., they have signed up their email and they get news directly into their inbox. So we have the newswire works a lot like a press association or Associated Press, which what I mean by that is we host all the news that is easy to access for these journalists and makes it easier for them to feature your game in the content that they're producing. Right now, because of the current situation, we're giving away the first month for free. So at the checkout, when you click this option, just type in free 2020. When you go to our homepage, at the navigation at the top, it will show you the links to go to. So for the subscription, the navigation just says subscribe, and for the list your game, it's just list your game. And you can follow links, and both are easy to sign up to, and we'd love to get you signed up. For the list your game as well, I should mention that the £24 option is for one game, but there is option to list more than one game. You can list 2 or 3 games too. So as I says, my name's Mark and my business partner and the co-founder of WXY is Gemma. So our background has been primarily PR. Mine's leans more towards PR, social media and PR stunts, working for big and small brands alike. Some of the brands I've worked for include, out with the gaming industry, include Aldi, I'm Brew, which is really Scottish of me, 888 Poker, Lego, Whitbread, the likes of Brewers Fair, and Transport for Greater Manchester. Gemma's from a more corporate background, but she's also a published author. She's published young adult horror books, and she head of content at a boutique PR agency in Manchester. So we're used to working with a multitude of different clients, and before we set up WXY just short of 2 years ago, both of us were freelancers for a few years, so we're used to juggling all different projects. Now let's begin with the trends that we identified when we did our market research when we put together Forward Slash Gaming. Big one that came from journalists when we asked would they use our service, and most of them said yes, which was great, was they had a challenge of getting media accurate information from independent games companies. Now, that's not to say that games companies are giving false information. It's best way to describe this is using a real life example. One of the journalists, when we were speaking to them and asking them what their experience was, the example that they gave was they were in touch with a developer that was really interested in a game that was getting released, and the developer had great initial conversations with them. They gave them information, they did a write-up on the website. It was a really nice feature preview for that game when it was getting released. When it came to the release date, The journalist checked and it had been released yet, got in touch with the developer and never heard anything. So he didn't know if it was getting released, if it was getting delayed or whatever. Now, a delayed game, no one wants to delay a game, and sometimes when you delay a game, you don't know when it's getting delayed too. But our advice is always communicate the accurate information, because it's not just upsetting that journalist having inaccurate information, it's having inaccurate information out there that effectively could be a potential customer seeing it and somebody that's going to buy your game. You just need to look at Reddit to see this when independent games companies go silent and people on Reddit are just like, are they even releasing the game? Is the game coming out? Etc. etc. Obviously, it can be a big issue around about Kickstarter, but we always say if you have accurate, up-to-date information and you're communicating in a genuine way, then that's a lot more effective. Now, for that journalist as well, they were put off ever covering that developer again. It left a sour taste in their mouth, and you don't want to do that. You want to keep that relationship. And that's why we created the Gaming Wire /gaming, because to get content that is up to date and accurate, and journalists can use it as an accurate source of information. And it's easy. It's easy for them to get information. They can get all the assets that they need from /gaming without having to have a back and forth with the developer. The developer can provide it with us, and we can enact as a consultant as well if a journalist is being difficult, which is rarely happens. But if there's like crisis or issue or something with the game, we can advise on how best to communicate that with journalists and ultimately potential customers. Second trend that everyone that we polled says was the rise in significance of streamers and streaming platforms. That's not to say that streaming's new. YouTube's been about for ages. People have been streaming games for years, but it's the fragmentation of that area. You have the likes of Twitch. You've got Microsoft's owned Mixer. That has made this area a lot more diverse, and because of that, a lot of companies that we worked for in the past, they used to have one strategy, one PR strategy for media and streamers and influencers. Now that's kind of split, where you have one tactical output for the media and one tactical output for influencers, because there's different requirements, nuanced different requirements, but all the same. Now, that can pose a challenge. It's like, where should you be focusing on? And that is something that /gaming is working on as well. We primarily work with gaming media, i.e. journalists, reviewers, people that work for gaming outlets such as IGN and PC Gamer and smaller independent news outlets as well. But we also have a few influencers that have signed up to use the service, and we're looking to cater more to them as well, because we realise that that's a massive opportunity for the developers that work for us to get their game featured and out there and to a potential large audience. The last trend that I'm going to highlight is there is more opportunities to cut through. What I mean by that is there is more media coverage opportunities. There's more opportunities to get your game covered because there's a lot more media outlets than what there once was. It's no longer just magazines in your local WH Smith. You have lots of different websites. You have blogs that have came from small, humble beginnings that are more like media outlets now. And on the other end of the scale, you have your big, massive media outlets such as Reach PLC, who own the Daily Star and the Mirror, who are featuring games content. The reason for this is the gaming market's becoming bigger, and they know there's an audience there that they can tap into. But with that bigger audience, there is more games getting released, and the challenge lies in how do you make your game stand out compared to other games, and how can you cut through to get that essential media coverage. So the question is, why should you care? People love speaking about trends, but you never really hear why should you actually care about it? What does it actually mean in real life? So from the examples that we have and evidence that we have, PR buzz about your game can help you land a publishing deal. That's not to say it's a silver bullet. It's not. a crap game's a crap game, but we have worked with developers when they have been speaking to publishers in those initial conversations, and the conversations have been around about the marketing that they have done for a previous release game, and we've helped them to show success on the media coverage that they have got and how to analyse it and communicate it effectively to that publisher. We also know, which is not quantifiable, wasn't part of a market research, but more of it as an experience from when we have launched / gaming, is that a lot of funding for games in the UK, one of the reasons funding is rejected is due to the marketing proposal isn't strong enough. So we have helped inform marketing proposals. We also have marketing templates that we give all our subscribers as well as a general guide to help them form a marketing strategy for their games launch. Prior to that, when we were first launching / gaming, we had the people that we polled, 66% says they aren't doing enough or could be doing more when it comes to PR and marketing. And the main marketing priority that was listed was PR. So we know it's important, and that is why we created / gaming. There was the desire by journalists to feature more indie games, and there is the need and requirement for independent games companies to have a solution that fits them. So, serious question, what is the budget? What is the budget for all this marketing stuff? It's all well and good having information, but what does that actually mean, and what does it actually cost? So, the PRCA, who are an official body for the PR industry in the UK, say that an average freelancer day rate is £250 to £400. That's across all different industries, and it is affected by the seniority of the PR practitioner and also the geography of them as well. Again, a lot of developers that we have worked with, they have freelancers that work for them, usually a few days a week, not on a constant basis. The ones when we first created / gaming, our early access developers and the ones we went out to, we asked them how much do they spend on PR agency fees, and the most common response was between £1,000 and £2,000 with a minimum of 3 months before a game's launch. Now, if I work to minimums, that means it's about £3,000 a month they're spending on PR in a year minimum. Now, that's why we created / gaming, because it's only £55 a month for the subscription, and we do get asked why is it so cheap, and the reason is because we've got one goal, and that is to get you media coverage. And we hope that PR agencies that are charging between £1,000 and £2,000 and usually more a month, that they're offering more than just that service. So that is why we can be used as your sole solution to get media coverage, or we can be a tool that's used by a PR agency as well. That brings us to the end, and I just want to go over our wire that these are just some of the independent games companies that we work with, and we work with such a varied selection from medium-sized publishers that are independent in the UK to developers in Europe and beyond, and solo devs that are releasing their first game, and the established developers that are releasing their second and third game. Our main aim is to get media coverage. There is a blueprint that's followed between all these games, and our main goal in it all is to see the news angle and to get that news angle out there to the journalists. This slide is just an example of the top of our newswire that works like Associated Press or Press Association, where each tile has access to news, and journalists can access this information easily, and they can also sign up to get the news directly in their inbox before it's syndicated on the wire. And obviously the ones that sign up are looking for independent games news. So again, they have the legitimate interest, and they've got easy to access information. It's to make it easy and accurate for them, so they know it's coming from an accurate source, and they know we only feature news with the people that we work with, and they know they can get that news easy, and they can curate it and help generate editorial content for them. And that brings us to the end. Thanks very much for listening. If you've made it this far, then well done, because I know my voice isn't the most exciting. If you need anything, just drop me a line. My email's on screen. It's mark@wxy.social, and it's Mark with a Z. Or give WXY a follow at WXY_talk on Twitter. Lastly, I hope everyone's staying safe and well, and all your friends and family are too. And I'd love to hear from you if you've got any PR or marketing needs. Thanks very much, and take care.